and welcome back to Sustainable Teacher. If it is your first time here, my name is Leticia and I'm glad to meet you. And if you've been here before, I'm happy to see you again. In today's video we start a new school year of this biology and geology subject that I teach, and in this case it's going to be the subject for the third grade of the secondary education. So we will learn mainly about the human body, also a little bit about rocks, and a little bit about ecology, but not really too much this year. Okay, so it's gonna be mainly human body and geology, a little bit of geology at the end of the year. This unit we will focus on the organization of the human body, from atoms to organs and systems, in different videos. Today specifically we are going to focus on atoms, molecules and cells. So if you are interested on this video, please subscribe, hit the bell, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. In general, we can say that we have around 6 to 7 levels of organization in the human body. The first level is atoms, atomic level. Because you know that all the matter, it doesn't matter organic than inorganic matter, all matter in the universe is made of atoms, and we are not the exception, so we are made of atoms. Atoms together will form molecules. Molecules together will form cells. Cells, you know, that is the unit of all living beings. There are some cells that can live alone, some cells need to live together. In the case of human beings, we are made of lots of cells that live together in the human body. Cells together will form tissues. Tissues together form organs, and organs together will form all our systems in our body, and of course all the systems together will form the human body. We will learn about all these levels in different videos. Today we are going to learn about the three first levels of organization, which are atoms, molecules and cells. So let's quickly talk about atoms. They are really simple molecules, the smallest molecule in the universe that are able to perform all the physical-chemical properties of matter. There are some subatomic particles, but they don't have all the chemical properties of matter, okay? And from all the elements of the periodic table, there are nowadays 118 elements. Those elements that appear in living matter, they are called bioelements, so elements from life. It doesn't mean that they only appear in living beings, in organic matter. They could also appear in inorganic matter, but they are from all the periodic table. Those elements are the ones that can form part of living being structures, okay? We can classify them depending on the amount of those elements in three categories: macro elements, micro elements and oligo elements. Of course, as you can get from the prefix, macro are the ones that are found in more quantity, micro are medium quantity, and oligo elements are really small, low quantities, but they are all important. I have here some examples of micro and micro elements mainly. So macro elements are, you already know them: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus and sulfur mainly, okay? And micro elements, they are less used, but really important as well. I'm sure you already know them. It's like sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium, silicon and chlorine, okay? So they are really common to us, I hope, for you as well. And these are the main elements we find in our human body and in living matter in general. The thing is that when atoms bond, they become something new, with new properties that atoms alone didn't have. This will happen from one level to the next level in each level. They are called emergent properties because they appear in the next level when the previous level gets together. But in the previous level alone, this property didn't exist. Okay, so when atoms bond with chemical bonds, mainly chemical bonds, they form molecules and they have new properties. Okay, as well as we call bioelements to the elements that are parts of living matter, we call biomolecules to the molecules that appear in living things, in living matter. Some biomolecules can work on their own, like sugar. Glucose is the ingredient. Well, sugar is made of glucose, okay, and glucose is a simple molecule, okay. But in some cases, the molecules they need more complex structures to work, so they can bond together several molecules to make a bigger structure. And when a molecule works on its own, it's called a monomer because it's just one. And when molecules work together, bonded together, we call them polymers because it's more than one. Okay, monomers just one, polymers more than one. We can classify molecules into main big groups depending of if we can find in non-living matter, so inorganic matter, or if they are just specific and exclusive of organic matter. So in the inorganic group we have two molecules, water and mineral salts. Okay, so water can be found in rivers as well. We have like a 60 to 70% of water in our body, but and we need water to live, but water is also found in a river, and a river is not a living thing, it's not a living thing, so it's not exclusive of living matter, but necessary, okay? And it happens the same with mineral salts. For instance, our bones are made of calcium, this is a mineral salt, but we can also find these salts in nature, in inorganic matter, okay? The rest of the molecules, which are 5, they are exclusive of organic matter, so they are called the organic molecules or organic biomolecules. And we have carbohydrates, which are commonly known as sugars. We have proteins, we have the nucleic acids with the genetic information, we have lipids, we call them fats usually, and we have vitamins. Vitamins is a very complex group with very different chemical structures, but really they are really important for our body regulation, okay? So now let's start with the units of all living beings, which are the cell. Cell is the cellular level, is the first level in which we can find living beings. The atom and molecular levels that make a molecular levels, they were just structures, parts of living being, but not living beings alone. When we combine in the right way molecules, we form cells, and those cells are the first level of organization that they are really living beings, okay? Because they can perform the 3 functions of living beings, which are nutrition, interaction and reproduction. Cells can live alone, and we will talk about unicellular individuals, or they can live together, making more complex individuals like us, and we call us multicellular individuals. We also have different main type of cells depending on if they have nucleus or not. If they don't have nucleus, we call them prokaryotic cells. Pro means previous, Carrion means nucleus, so it's a cell with something previous to a nucleus. It's more simple, okay, simpler, and we can find them, for instance, in bacteria. Bacteria are prokaryotic, all bacteria are prokaryotic, okay? On the other hand, we have eukaryotic cells. Eu means true, karyon means nucleus, so that means cells with true nucleus. All animals, we are all eukaryotics. Humans, of course, we have eukaryotic cells, and specifically we have animal eukaryotic cells. Plants, they have plant cells, okay? So what can we find in a human cell, so in an eukaryotic animal cell? Of course, the cell or plasma membrane that surrounds all the cells give it the individuality and shape, form, etc. Then inside we have the nucleus with genetic information. And around, inside the cell, we have the cytoplasm with organelles. And we can divide the organelles in two main groups, depending on if they have or if they don't have a membrane. If they have membrane, we have 5 main type of organelles, which are the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, and vesicles. And if they don't have membrane, we have 3, which are the centrioles, the ribosome, and the cytoskeleton. And we will finish this video talking a little bit about each function of this structure, so of the function of this structure. So cell membrane is made of mainly lipids, okay, with some proteins and carbohydrates. They isolate the cell from the environment. They give the cell an identity, and specifically the identity is given using those carbohydrates and proteins on the cell membrane, okay? And also proteins usually regulate transport between or from the inside to the outside of the cell. The nucleus is inside the cell. In the animal cells, they usually have a central position inside the cell, and it has a membrane, a double nuclear membrane with pores for communication, okay, nucleopores. Inside we can find the nucleic acids, mainly DNA with all the genetic information, and some RNA that have some specific functions in cell cycles, okay? And there is a region called also the nucleolus that we can find inside the nucleus. This yellow ball that you can see here is the nucleolus, okay? And here you also can see the pores. And the red balls are ribosomes. The blue structure around is the endoplasmic reticulum. We will talk about them just in a few slides. The cytoplasm is a liquid, okay? It's mainly water, but with some salts and other substances dissolved in it. Okay, but it's thick. It's not like it's dense, more than water, okay? And it contains all the organelles from the cell organelles, okay? Talking about those organelles without membrane, we have 3. The most important one are the ribosomes. Ribosomes are made of part of the RNA that has been synthesized in the nucleus, okay? And it goes out of the nucleus using the pores that we talked before. It is related, or the main function of ribosomes is to synthesize, to produce proteins, okay? New proteins for the body, for the cell and other cells and the body in general. Then we also have the cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton is made of fibers. Fibers that are at the same time made of proteins, and the main function of cytoskeleton is to maintain the shape of the body and the location of the different organelles inside the body. Some cytoskeleton could be also found in cilia or flagella, that are those hairs, long or shorter, that are used in cells to move, okay? And finally, the centrioles. We always find them in pairs, and the pairs is called the centrosome. And they are used for cell division. They move the chromosomes of the cells during cell division. And about the membranous organelles, we have mitochondria, which is the most important one in the cell, because it's the one that will synthesize the energy, will produce the energy the cells need, okay? They have a double membrane, and all the processes happen inside in the inner membrane, okay? Or in the matrix inside. The endoplasmic reticulum, we have two types. We talked a little bit about this before. If it has ribosome, we call them raw endoplasmic reticulum, because it's the balls that represent the ribosome, they give it like a raw aspect. That's why it's called raw endoplasmic reticulum. And when they don't have, it's called smooth. The raw endoplasmic reticulum is related with protein synthesis, because ribosomes are related with protein synthesis. The smooth is related with lipid synthesis. Golgi apparatus is like the next step in the protein synthesis chain. It's made like lots of small bags together, flat bags together, okay? And they receive the proteins from the raw endoplasmic reticulum. For this transport, the endoplasmic reticulum, or also the cell membrane, will create vesicles, and inside the vesicle they will transport the substances that are interesting for the processes in the cell and point. We can use vesicles to transport things inside the cell. We can use vesicles to transport things from inside the cell to outside, or from outside to the inside, or even from one cell to another, okay? And finally, lysosomes are a specific type of vesicle used for digestion of those molecules that we don't like anymore in cells. And this is the end of this video. I hope is everything clear. If you have any question, please comment, and of course, see you soon.